Today on Power Nation Garage, it's our Spec 350Z project, and we're upgrading the cooling, the braking, and shoeing our ride with some racing wheels and tires. Hey, I'm Gannon Pritchard. Welcome back to Power Nation Garage. Our Spec 350Z race car is back. We have a roll cage, suspension, and a differential. Now we're going to work on the car's cooling system. We're also going to install some high-performance brake pads and some wheels and tires to keep this thing sticking on the track. Once your car is off the ground, go ahead and remove the wheels and tires. You also want to pull out the wheel wells and unscrew the screws and the bolts that hold on the front bumper. Next, work your way under the hood and remove the air breather box completely from the car. This might take a few wiggles here and there, but it will pop out. Detach the overflow hose from the reservoir and then remove the plastic engine dress cover. There will be 4 screws, 2 up front that you can see and 2 in the rear underneath the strut bar. Pull that off and then go ahead and remove your electric fan shroud behind the radiator. Using a wrench, remove the bolts holding your radiator in place and remove it carefully in case you want to sell it or you need it for a backup on the racetrack. Follow that by removing the AC condenser, which is nothing but added weight and it takes away valuable horsepower. Keeping our Spec Z race car cool is obviously important, especially at the racetrack, and Nismo has it under control with this all-aluminum, high-performance radiator that actually fits right in the stock location, so you don't have to modify anything, and that is super nice. Now check this out. Also, an oil cooler is important to have if you like road racing or just driving hard, because if you don't finish the race, you're never going to win a race. And the best news is Nismo has you covered on that as well. While it's out of the car, it's easier to install the pedcock, so take some Teflon tape, wrap it around the threads, and snug the pedcock down into the radiator. But don't strip it because it is aluminum. Snug is good. Now, since we're removing our AC system, we had it drained by a professional, and that's the only safe and smart way to do it. Don't just cut the line and let the harmful refrigerant drain into the air. That's just not a good way to do it. It's not good for you, and it's not good for the environment. Loosen your belt tensioner and remove the main belt from the front of the engine. Followed by your AC compressor belt. Completely remove the AC tensioner, followed by the entire AC compressor itself. Once removed, go ahead and reinstall the engine belt and adjust it back to the proper tightness. Take the rubber grommets off the old OEM radiator and put them on the pegs of the new radiator. Carefully slide the radiator down into place and make sure that you don't damage it by banging it off the side of the engine. Slide the pegs of the radiator down into place into the holes and attach your bottom hose and then attach your top radiator hose, followed by your hose clamps, making sure everything is tight. Finally, secure the radiator in place by locking it with the fasteners on both sides of the radiator. Attach your overflow hose to the overflow reservoir and make sure it's nice and tight. Finish up the job by reinstalling the electric fan shroud, and you are done. Now moving on to the brake pads. Pop up that plastic lid and open up the master cylinder brake reservoir cap. Remove the main pin bolt, followed by removing the bottom pin bolt. Pull the caliper and hang it out of your way so you're not damaging the brake lines. I used a coat hanger, you could use zip ties or whatever you have handy. Remove your old brake pads and reinstall the new ones the same way you took them out. Next, you want to compress the pistons in your calipers, so the caliper will fit over the fatter brake pads. The new brake pads are probably going to be a little thicker, and that's the reason why you have to compress them. Tighten your pins up. Nice and snug, and now you're done and moving to the rear. Loosen and remove the top pin and the caliper. The rear calipers fold down and out of your way, so it's easy access to the brake pads. Pop out your old pads that are worn out and compress your piston calipers once again. Install the new pads the same way you took out the old pads. Tighten up the top pin and the bottom pin, making sure that it's nice and snug. Close your cap on your master brake cylinder, and you are now finished changing the brake pads. And for you drivers out there who like to use wheel spacers to get your setup just right, Nismo has you covered with these 2.5-inch wheel studs. Try them out. For wheels, we went with BBS's RGR wheels. It's a one-piece die-forged wheel that is extremely durable. It's very stiff, and it's also extremely lightweight, which is great for racing. And it's also tested to equal standards as original equipment. Wrapped around those wheels are Toyo tires. They're 275/35/18s, and these tires will make this car stick to the racetrack like glue.